Hello and welcome at Value Investing, where we try to estimate the intrinsic value of different companies. I've received comments that you would like to see a video about Coca-Cola Company, and this is what we will do today. But first, the usual disclaimer, this is no financial advice and just my personal opinion. Now let's hop right into the video. Coca-Cola Company has a nice starting dividend yield of around 3% and is down around 7% year to date. As we all know, Warren Buffett is a huge fan of the Coca-Cola Company. Thus, Berkshire Hathaway has a huge stake of around 9% in Coca-Cola. Now let's have a look at Coca-Cola with the stock valuation tool. I have plugged in all the values and we can see that the dividend is around $1.8. Coca-Cola has a very special chart from my point of view because they have a beta of around 0.55, so the volatility is very small compared to the average market. This we can also see here in the chart, and basically it goes from bottom left to top right, and the same is true for the EPS all time. We can see an upwards trend towards the right. Coca-Cola has a payout ratio of around 73%, which is quite healthy. Now let's have a look at Coca-Cola with Graham's valuation, where we use the revised formula from Benjamin Graham to estimate the intrinsic value of Coca-Cola. I've plugged in all the values of the EPS, growth rate projection and the current yield of AAA corporate bonds, which gives us a kind of low intrinsic value compared to the current trading price of around $28. Now let's jump to the multiples valuation. However, there are not many comparable companies to Coca-Cola, so I have only used PepsiCo and Monster Beverage. I've plugged in the stock price and the earnings per share for these companies, which give us a price-earnings multiple. With the price-earnings multiple, I calculated the average price-earnings multiple. Multiplying this with the earnings per share for Coca-Cola, we get an intrinsic value of $87. Now let's have a look at the discounted cash flow analysis for Coca-Cola. I've plugged in all the values of the free cash flow for Coca-Cola. We can see that the average growth rate is around 4%, which I have also projected for the future. With the growth rate and the last value of the free cash flow, I calculated the future free cash flows and also the present value of the future free cash flow. Calculating all of them together and adding the cash and cash equivalent and subtracting the total debt they have, normalized by the outstanding shares, we get an intrinsic value of around $33. Now let's have a look at the dividend discount model. I would like to mention that Coca-Cola has increased the dividend 60 consecutive years, which we can see here in the chart. This is quite nice and a very good achievement from my point of view. Now let's have a look at the yearly dividends. I've plugged in all the values and calculated the average growth rate of around 4.7%. The latest shareholder meeting revealed that Coca-Cola likes to target a growth rate or a dividend growth rate of around 5%. I go a bit more pessimistic, so I calculate with 4 to have a bit more margin of safety. And this gives us an intrinsic value of around $40. Please keep in mind that it's also worth to look at the outstanding shares for Coca-Cola, and we can see that they regularly buy back shares if they can. They had to dilute the shares at 2012, but they still kept buying back shares when there is a possibility for them. This is a friendly action from the management towards the shareholders. I like this. Now let's have a look at the output tab. Considering all four valuations and averaging them together gives us an intrinsic value of around $47. The current trading price of around $58 is way higher than the intrinsic value, but please keep in mind this is partly due to Graham's valuation, driving down the valuation of Coca-Cola quite a bit. If you would like to buy with a 20% margin of safety, the acceptable buy price would be $38. Considering the volatility of Coca-Cola, you will probably not reach the acceptable buy range anytime near soon. So I would be interested what you think about the company and also which company you would like to see in the future. Please leave a comment down below and also like and subscribe the video, as this will really help me in growing this channel. And as always, thank you for watching.